Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Friday Frothy. Hello, Glenn.
How are you, Jeff? How you going, mate?
I'm very well, thanks.
Exciting night.
Another interview tonight, mate. Bit different on a Thursday.
Thursday night, actually, I'm really excited about.
Alan
What have we got, mate?
Johnson, guys. If you haven't heard of Alan Johnson, who is he?
Yeah, well, he's a former Western Australian great who was picked up by Melbourne as a #1 draft pick, mate. Ready to go. I reckon anyone who likes AFL football, VFL football, this is a must see. A must see.
Team of the century in Perth.
Yep.
Hall of Fame in Perth.
2-time best and fairest Melbourne player.
And Hall of Fame Melbourne.
Doesn't get much better, does it?
Hang around, guys. Grab yourself a froth because this is going to be great. This is the Friday Frothy. Alan Johnson. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alan Johnson to the Friday Frothy. G'day, Alan. Thanks for joining us, mate.
How are you, Alan? How are you, mate?
Thanks. Yeah, good, mate. It's great. It's great to be on board.
Mate, before we start the show, I've obviously done a bit of hunting around. Glennie here beside me knows a fair bit about your career, but I just quickly, for viewers who are watching, you played as a wingman or in the centre. I hear you had a very long kick, is that correct?
Well, some say so. I'll say it was just massive.
Massive.
On to Johnson. Johnson goes across half forward. Johnson about 25 metres out from goal has put it through.
Now, your career...
As far as the eye can see, that's how far it went.
Your career started in Perth, where you lived originally. I believe you've... from 75 to 81, and then you were picked up by Melbourne Demons to go to the VFL, correct?
Yep, I went from Perth Demons to Melbourne Demons, so it wasn't too hard to actually...
No, it was the Demons, was it?
They were the Demons in Perth, yeah, they were. And so just with that, Alan, before you left, obviously you played quite a few games in Perth. I mean, you were there for quite a while before you was drafted by Melbourne.
Yeah, I came over as an older recruit. I came over when I was 24.
24?
So I started my first game when I was 17 in Perth, so I'd been there a while.
You would have rubbed shoulders with some damn good footballers over there, mate. It was a pretty strong football state. Who was in the Perth side? Is anyone of any note?
Oh, you know this one, I have no doubt. Peter Bazzusto.
Oh, you was with, okay, went to Carlton, yep, Bazzusto.
Yep,
was he in your side there, Alan?
Yep.
Yep, he was at Perth.
Robert Wiley.
Went to Richmond. Yep.
Yes. Yep. Who else was there? The Duke, Earl Spalding.
Oh, Earl Spalding. Yeah, well, he went to Carlton. And Melbourne. Was it Melbourne then, Carlton? Yes.
Yep.
Earl Spalding, yeah.
Told you.
No, he was a good player, mate. He I thought he was one player that got better. I thought probably even later on when he went to Carlton, I thought he even became a better player. But as far as yourself go, I watched you play a lot of football, and what I can remember of you was that you were a very quick wingman. With a long kick, not a bad kicking out of sight, but who was on the other wing, mate, when you first went there to Melbourne?
When I went there, I had the legend on the other wing.
You had Robbie Flower? Yeah, really? Robbie Flower.
Wow. So, Alan, with your combined games with Perth and Melbourne, you were very close to a 300-game player, correct?
Yeah, I played 124 in Perth, 135 here.
Yep.
And but they don't take into consideration your state or the night game. So yeah, I've never actually worked it out. I reckon it'll be pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon so. And you certainly all the awards that you've won, best and fairest at Perth, best and fairest twice at the Demons.
At the Demons.
Hall of Fame for both Perth and Demons. Team of the century at Perth, mate. That's some pretty high credentials.
Melbourne Hall of Famer in 2013. Life member 2014. Bit of a goal kicker, wasn't you? 135 goals is not bad. Was that all predominantly wing, wasn't it, or not?
Now, when when somebody asks me that, I always generally say, no, it's from the back pocket.
I would have come up. I would have come up with that one.
That's nice. So how many grand finals have you played in? Can you remember that?
If I think about the grand finals from back in the Perth days, we played in 3 in a row. I came through reserves. I played in the reserves grand final. We won that.
Yep.
Then I went into the league. We played 3 straight.
Yep.
We won 2 of those 3. And then in Melbourne, we played in 2 night grand finals that I remember, and we won those. But we lost that horrible one.
That was a good one, mate. You played Hawthorn. Didn't you play against Hawthorn? Well, the big.
Hawthorn. I've never watched the game, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
No.
Go back there and watch it, and I don't really want to.
No.
But I didn't even know the score until one day I went to see Chris Connolly when he was coaching at Hawthorn. I went to the Hawthorn rooms and I walked past the actual, it was a picture of the team and it had the score up there. Jeez, I wish I never looked at it. 2022 or whatever it was.
Oh, really?
But the funny thing to that is that I know we got walloped, but when Port Adelaide got smashed even worse in their grand final, my son lives in Perth and he kept texting me. He said, "Dad, you're going to lose the record having the greatest loss in a grand final." It's happening. Like each quarter, I got a message from him saying it's getting closer, it's getting closer. And so at the end, we celebrated.
Oh no!
we weren't the greatest losing side, thank God. For that.
No, dear me. So, mate, you've gone as the number 1 draft pick. Is that right?
Number 1. Yeah, he was number 1 draft pick.
You were being chased by a number of clubs.
Yeah. Did anyone else?
It was quite interesting. Before they had the draft at the end of that year, they still had the Form 4s or Form whatever it was called.
Yeah.
You signed those to transfer, and you could go through it halfway through a year.
Yeah.
Ray Lord from Richmond approached me to come over halfway through the year to join Richmond. I was ready to go, ready to sign with Richmond and go, but the club wouldn't let me. So I waited for the end of the year, and then it was Melbourne or Richmond that picked me up, and Melbourne did.
Okay, as you said, because you was with Robert Wiley, wasn't you? So he was at Richmond. So you obviously knew. Yeah, when you went to Melbourne, did you keep in touch with all those lads that you played with? Obviously, Bazasto or Robert Wiley, or not really, or did you stick more with the Melbourne guys? I don't know.
I think I stuck more with the Melbourne guys. You only caught up with the guys maybe when there was a functions or there were state games or you caught up after the game. So. The Melbourne guys then were pretty tight. They're a pretty young group too, because we had the Gary Lyons coming through, the Greg Dealys, Adrian Batterston, Michael O'Sullivan's guys who played in the under-19 side, and I think I'm not sure whether they won or lost the grand final of the under-19s in the first year I came over.
Yeah.
So, we're pretty tight young. I was the older statesman towards the end. I was the old bugger.
Yeah, so when you came over, Alan, were you married and all that at the time, or did you just
family?
Yeah, you had family and that. So whereas you said all the rest of the lads, a lot of them like Gary Lyons and that were just coming from Cobram, wasn't it? Cobram he came from, wasn't it?
Yeah, he came up from that way. Is it up Shep Way? Or
yeah, it's up
Cobram?
It is. It's up Shepparton Way. So obviously those guys, I don't know, back in those days, would have they been put together in a billeted out with a not billeted out, but in a house with a family, I suppose.
Yeah, I blame them for my partying because I was older and they were young. And they taught me some bad things of going out and drinking. I just blame them.
Well, Alan, on that, I put a little. On that.
Hang on, mate. We're having a little drink too. You're all right.
But I put a clip on our Facebook page, and it was you talking about when you went to the club, and Ron Barassi was saying that you weren't up to speed, and what were you doing differently over in Perth, and quite a good little story.
Yeah, well, I played in the practice matches, actually where the Tender Centre is now, and I had a pretty couple of good practice matches. I played in the centre. And in one of the games against Carlton, of all things, I kicked 7 goals from the centre. And so Brass was pretty happy. But the first game we played was up in Sydney. It was the first time Sydney Swans got out there. And I'll tell you what, after that game, I certainly remember their theme song because they played it every time we kicked goals, and they kicked plenty of them that day.
Well, you played
So during the week, Barassi came up to me and said, Alan, look, need to know what were you nervous before the start of the game? Because it was a pretty average game, my first one there. I said, well, Brass, I don't know. I said, I didn't go through my normal routine. And he asked me, he goes, so what was your normal routine in Perth? I said, well, you mightn't like what I used to do, but it was my routine. I said, on a Friday, we used to go down to the local pub. I used to have a parma and a pot and get myself ready. Then I'd go back to work, and then I'd get home. I'd go down the pub with the old man, have a couple of beers there, have a big roast, and have a stubby with him. I said, that was my normal routine. And he said, mate, you're pretty skinny, so I suppose you wouldn't put on too much weight. I said, well, I didn't. And he said, so I want you to go do it. So I went, and I was working at Kingsway in South Melbourne.
Yeah.
So with the guys from work, I said, guys, I'm going down to Bell's Pub. I'm going to have a pot and a parma. Mm-hmm. I've got to have it. And then I'm going to go home and I cooked up a roast and had a couple of stubbies. I've got second best on ground.
Yeah. There you go. So there's something behind that, Alan. Don't change your routine, mate.
Now,
basically, yeah. And that's what you do and you feel comfortable about.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to, whatever works for you. That's the trouble. I reckon that's the trouble with half these AFL footballers today.
Well, yes.
Not too serious.
Was there the same leniency with the other players, the other boys in the team, or were they pretty jealous of you being able to have a beer, or did they not know?
I didn't say a word.
That's it. Keep that close to your chest.
Brass would have been pretty annoyed with the rest of them having a few beers.
If everyone's down the pub.
Mate, yeah. I was just going to say, in your time there, Alan, when you was at Melbourne, was Barassi, what coaches did you have in that time?
Yeah, I had two. I had Ron Barassi and John Northey.
And John Northey, yeah. Yep, Rich.
So, in nearly 20 years of footy, I reckon I've only had 4 coaches.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Who was your Western Australia? Who was your Perth coach at the time?
Ken Armstrong, who was the first one.
Yep.
And then I had, it was Alan Joyce was the other one.
Oh, Alan Joyce. Well, there's another Hawthorn. Oh, he's all right, Alan Joyce.
Alan, we interviewed Roger Podolzak, which I think you know or know of, a couple of weeks ago from North Melbourne, and asked him the same question, being coached with Ron Barassi, what was he like? Yeah, what was he like? I mean, he really liked him, thought he was stern but good. You get the same feelings of Barassi?
Yeah, Ron was very good with theory and very intense.
That's the answer to everything. Possessions. You give me possessions and I'll shut up.
I was towards the end of his career. And socially, he got on really well with a lot of guys because he was great to talk to because his knowledge was fantastic.
Yeah.
With game day, very intense about it. He's very structured.
Yep.
I quite enjoy Ron the way he coached, and I went from Ken Armstrong, who was a teacher, that was his background.
Yep.
So there was a different approach. Then I went to Alan Joyce, who was very, I suppose, strong-handed in just drilling you into the ground in many ways. Then I went to Ken, who was knowledgeable about football in terms of what he saw game plans and how it should be working and stuff like that. And then I went to John Northey, who was very much a player's coach, I'll call it.
Yeah.
But Ron was really great to talk to, and he is now. We still have a joke every time that we catch up.
Yep.
I tell you what, he was a good table tennis player.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
We had many matches after training. He was very good.
With a beer?
But no, I wish so. But
but
only after a game could you walk off. And there was a slab sitting there for you. So it doesn't happen now.
Is that right? Yeah, how things have changed. Now, you were offered a coaching position or something with Melbourne as well, weren't you?
No. John, when I decided decided to stop playing at that level, I decided on the morning of my first own training session for pre-season, I'd have a 6 to 7k run that I used to do through hills. I went about a kilometre away from home and mine just said I had enough.
Yeah.
So I went and spoke to John Northey and they tried to entice me to keep playing. And I just said, look, I don't think I can continue to do it. I've just had enough. But they kept me on the list for the year just in case.
You had some pretty serious injuries, Achilles. I know that was one of them, and that I know that's a hard one to get over. How long did that put you out for, mate?
Well, I did both Achilles.
Both Achilles, yeah. Well,
yeah. I did one towards the end of one season, which I missed the last 3 games. Then I did one playing basketball with pre-season fitness.
Might have been the same with the Collingwood guy, the Sear or whatever he just did, didn't he?
Yeah. Fill in.
He was filling in though, he was.
Fill in.
Well, it took me. I did the rehab. I did it every morning and every night for 3 months. So I never lost any pre-season training after Christmas. I did a lot of work on it. The injuries, I tore the hamstring off the bone in one game. I popped the calf muscle in another. I broke. Someone asked me to draw it up on a whiteboard once at work, and I said, "What part don't you want me to circle?"
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, mate. It was a different game back then. I mean, I played down here, and it was certainly different than it is now. I mean, you were playing at the top level, but I played.
More like netball.
I mean, you had the likes of Rodney Eade and all that down here before they ever went to Hawthorn. I watched them coming through, and some of these guys, and it was a pretty good competition down here too. We had some good players, but the football was certainly different. It was you earned your kick, and I know no doubt it would have been the same when you was in Western Australia, but it was. There was shirt fronts, hit down only 15-metre penalties, and.
So what?
And the crowds were. I reckon the crowds were terrific, especially in. I don't know what it was like in Perth, but certainly in Tasmania, it was solid. You know, back in those days.
It was the same as in Perth.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to come into a Perth side that had very good senior players, and they're all built like the bricks.
Yeah. Yep.
I played my first game, and I was 9 stone. I was like a stick.
Yep.
So to have these guys around you, you felt pretty comfortable and confident.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and the number of times I can recall either being knocked out or shirt fronted, but I must admit the best shirt front I had was from Dougie Hawkins.
From Dougie Hawkins, there you go. Well,
the best one, and every time I see Dougie, because I see him reasonably regular. I say, Doug, I'm still sore from that one. He goes, look, I am really sorry. I'm really sorry about it.
There's a couple of guys I knew down here that were good friends of Doug Hawkins, the 2 McPherson boys. They're both from Tassie.
No.
They were both from, which I knew Rod, probably more than Steve McPherson, but they were a couple of good mates of his, so they were back around about that time. They were only 17, I think 17 and 18 when they left Clarence to go over there and play for Footscray. They had a pretty good career, bar injury, of course, with Rod. But
So you're still watching a fair bit of football, Alan?
What do you think of it?
Yeah, I watch just about every game. My wife gets sick of it.
Okay, that's good to hear.
But
not about the wife, sorry.
But my frustration watching today is if you ever watch the soccer in English league, you watch the footy now. Soccer goes backwards to create a hole or to open the defence. Footy goes backwards to open a defence. So we've taken some of soccer into our game.
Yeah.
I get frustrated with sides and their skills. I think if you train every day, my wife hates me when I keep talking about footy.
No,
if they train that often, surely their skills can hit a target and you can mark them.
Well,
and I hate the umpiring today.
Yeah,
I reckon we've made it hard for them.
Yeah.
We've made it too hard for them because ticky, Touchwood, you pull a jumper, you get a free kick, give me a break.
Yeah.
Just get on with the game.
And they don't know what they're doing.
I mean, if you go back to even well before our time, you go back to Bulldogs and all that, wasn't you always told as a kid, even in Western Australia, put your head over the ball?
Yeah.
And, if you're the ball player, but what they do now, they just wait until they always say keep your feet. Well, if you got balance and all that, you keep your feet and you get the ball. But back in when you was playing, the grounds were like quagmires too. You're playing on different grounds. Obviously, MCG would have been good, but when you're playing out at somewhere like Moorabbin or something like that, it would have been, full of mud, and you obviously got to have your head over the ball. But this bit, all they do now is you're sliding in and they're holding the back of your jumper.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they're not protecting the guy going for the ball. And I think everyone that's had anything to do with football, and that's my beef too, that it's just totally changed.
I just find the whole thing, I get so frustrated that I actually turn over and watch the rugby.
Yeah, well, we've been doing that.
Because I get annoyed with three umpires that are out there, and one makes a decision, then the other one makes a completely opposite decision at one end. One, you frustrate the players. Two, they don't know what's going on. No. And then the crowd gets annoyed because there's no consistency. And what I really find is that when they don't give, it's the decisions they don't give.
Exactly. Yeah, no.
Cause more of the issues.
Yeah.
And it creates opportunities missed.
Yep.
And nowadays you can be swung around three times and get a chance to get rid of the ball.
Yeah, they always get they always get the handball away, don't they?
I hate when you see a forward and a backman, they're struggling together, and an umpire sees one pull of a jumper by one player, but the other guy's got the other jumper and he's pulling it too, but he gives a free kick.
Yeah, it should be play on.
Pull each other's jumper, let them just do it.
Let it play on.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Can I ask who you barrack for? Are you a Demons? Sorry? Who do you barrack for in football? Are you a Demons supporter? You're a Melbourne supporter?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
True and true?
Yep. What about...
I follow both Demons.
Yeah. Do you get back to... do they have any sort of old players dues, Alan? I think you get back...
Old players.
Old players. Get back,
Isn't that lovely?
We're not getting any younger. Past players.
I know it means old when you catch up. I get that.
Just my Tasmanian slang, mate.
That's all it is. Tasmanian slang.
Yeah,
but that's it.
They have the fast players. They have the functions at the club, and you're entitled to bring family. It's pretty cheap. I've been to 2 or 3 of them this year. It's really good to catch up with the guys. But Rod Grinter for us organises the first Friday in December.
Yep.
Friday night, where he sends out an invite to everyone, and they try and catch up on that Friday night, which is a fairly big night.
Wow.
And we're all damn good by the end of it. We were all best and fairest, and we're
absolutely.
all friends, no matter where we ended up.
Well, you wouldn't have minded him coming behind you when you was going back into a pack, would you, Rod Grinter? He would have been handy, mate, wouldn't he?
He certainly protected you.
He was a pretty tough cookie.
Alan, I've been asked by one of our viewers asked me the other day. He found out that we were talking to you, and he said, "Oh, you would have played against with Jacko," and he
I
just
played with. I played with Jacko. Very unique.
Yeah.
We call it unique.
Yeah. He just said to me, asking me if he's got any stories on Jacko.
I got a couple. My first time that I ever saw Jacko play was at South Fremantle when he was there, and I was at Perth. And we were down playing at Fremantle. Now, Fremantle's down where seagulls are, and there's like plenty of birds around. And Fed Ingham was in the first quarter, and he's screaming for the ball. I thought it was a seagull screeching. I turned around and looked and go, what the hell is that? But he was big as hell. I went, Jesus. We were doing training, and I think it's pretty well known that he decked Robbie in a practice match. And Slug Jordan at the time, because Slug he was a reserves coach, and Slug used to shout out quite loudly in his small little voice, but it was echoed. He sent him back to the change room. We got back to the change rooms. The change room was a mess by the time we got back because everything was smashed.
Oh, no.
But, Brass said to me, he said, Alan, we're going to do boxing for this pre-season. and we'll just spar up with people, and you just get in tight and you box. I said, yeah, that's all right, that's fine. He said, you're sparring up with Mark Jackson. Now, he could bench 300 pounds, and his shoulders are about 6 foot across, and I've turned up, 10 stone. I'm going, this is going to be great. So I put the gloves on, and I walked up, and he said, okay, guys, and the boxing coach says, you bend over together, and he's given me one. I reckon I got lifted off the ground about 3 foot and on the deck with no breath, and I walked over to the boxing coach and said, here's my gloves, I'm finished.
Yeah.
Well, he had a boxing background too, didn't he? I mean, he could actually box from a young fella, so yeah.
Strong as.
Yeah.
Strong as, but...
You're out of your weight division there, Alan. If you were, what was 179 centimetres, what would he be?
I was a little bit out of it. I was the featherweight, he was the heavyweight.
He was heavyweight, yeah.
And do you still talk to him or see him at these dinners and do's or anything, or he's gone?
Doesn't turn up to any of them. No, I haven't seen him since he left.
Yeah, okay.
He's one that sort of drifted away, but he is a very unique. He had his own group of people that turned up to functions, and he sort of kept pretty quiet to himself.
Yep.
Look, everybody's made up differently, and he was just very, very different.
Yeah.
There he is again. Look at the workhorse, Alan Johnson, best on ground at the moment.
Your time playing at Melbourne, who stood out with, as far as a guy that you really like playing with?
I got on well with most of the guys, and I know that's a cliche thing, but I think that when you look at the guys, if you get to that level, you all bring something different.
Yeah.
And most of the guys, like, I love watching Robbie play. Bounce the ball left hand, bounce the ball right hand, kick both feet, easy, marking a pack, and like he was built like a twig.
Yeah.
But just did everything so special. Like, he could get 40 possessions. 45 possessions and got best on ground. He can get 37 and might not get a vote.
Yeah.
And you go, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But look, the guys that there, we had a good team of guys who put in. Jared Healy, you look at Jared, he played fantastically well. He was a great player for the club. But then if you look across the board, there was, I reckon, the day we got to the grand final was a team of contributors.
Yeah.
More than anything. If you look at them, everybody just did their job, and by the time we got there, we were fairly knackered, as the score
and that
tells us.
That was 88, was it?
That was 88. 88?
I don't remember the year.
No, you don't want to know.
Well, it was 88.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I asked.
It's somewhere in the 80s.
Yeah. What year did Jimmy Steins get there? When did he turn up at Melbourne? That was a bit later, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was there when Jimmy turned up. His first training session, him and Sean White.
Yeah, Sean White, the other Irishman. Yeah. Yep.
And they were just starting, towards the end of my career, they were just starting to really develop.
Yep.
They were really starting to get really stronger players, and as you can see, Jimmy kicked on.
Yeah.
But they turned up to our first run around Albert Park Lake.
Right.
And Jimmy outstripped everybody around the lake. Right, killed everybody. Anyway, we're having a barbecue, and there was a heap of meat and drinks left over. So Jimmy goes, in his wonderful accent and innocence at that time, do you mind if I take the leftovers back? So he's grabbing heaps of raw meat in his bag and taking it home. I said, surely you got food at home, Jimmy.
He was a freak, wasn't he? I just think of players to come from another code and dominate like he did as well. But he changed ruckman. He changed the style of the ruckman. Yeah, they weren't just to be big and slow. Yeah, they had to be athletes.
Yeah,
that's what he changed.
Well, you had the Viking before he came, wasn't it? Gary Baker. He would have been there, wouldn't he? Gary Baker. Gary Baker.
Bull.
The Bull.
Yeah, the Bull was around.
Yeah, the Viking. I used to call him. Yeah.
I was there when Crackers Keener was there.
Yes, that's right, because he came over from North Melbourne, didn't he? Yeah, that's right, true, yeah.
Yep.
Good old Kangas.
Well, Gary's running a pretty big, I suppose I'll give him a plug line, rock wall down here.
Yeah, bar and grill.
No, he's got the bar and grill down here in Hobart, but I was lucky enough to catch up with Gary. He's a character, a real character. Really nice bloke too. Absolutely champion fella. Yeah.
So Alan,
very nice.
Alan, is there a team when you were playing VFL that you despised playing against?
Don't say Hawthorn.
Yeah, hopefully it is.
Hawthorn.
It was Hawthorn. Obviously after that game.
Well, one side, like you know how you have sides that you struggle with. When I first arrived at Melbourne, Dick Snedden was the coach, and he approached me with a couple of other committee men, and I sat down and they said, "Alan, welcome to the club, and you hate Collingwood."
Yeah.
I went, sorry?
Right.
Yeah,
I said,
you hate
I
Collingwood.
don't know them. I haven't played against them yet. No, you hate Collingwood.
That's the rules. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So after 5 minutes, I had to say I hate Collingwood. Then they let me alone.
No.
But I'd say Melbourne have always struggled with North Melbourne. We do, and we do now. We did then, and we do now. The side that I think I struggle with is Richmond.
Yep.
Yes.
And mainly because when playing against them, I got kicked behind play and put my knee out, which cost me 7 weeks in a brace.
Yeah,
and one guy bit me on my back.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Wait.
Do you remember who it was?
He bit me on my back.
Do you remember who it was?
Yeah, I know it was.
But we're not saying.
And it came from WA. It
okay.
came from WA.
Yeah. Well,
After the game, we had a pass. We had a function. Remember Woosha Welsh?
yeah.
Richmond.
Welsh, was it not the one that played at Hawthorn? Yeah, Nuggety, little Nuggety fella. Yeah, well, he wasn't so small. Peter Welsh. Was it Peter Welsh?
Yeah, it was a Woosha Welsh from Richmond. And
Yes.
he saw me after the game and he came up to me and we're having a drink. He goes, "Mate, I got to ask you a question. Did you get bitten today?" And I said, "Yep." And I showed it, and I said, "Have a look at my teeth mark on my back."
Yeah.
And all I can say is, towards the end of the year, we played Richmond again, and this player went up to the umpire. It was Glenn James at the time. It might have been Glenn.
Yes. Yes.
He went up and said, "I just want you to let you know that Melbourne might be out to get me."
Oh.
Anyway, the game went on, and Chris Conley was chasing this certain player and actually missed punching the ball from his chest, but broke his nose. So that was all brawl.
Well, I reckon that's just desserts, mate.
My word.
Anyone who bites...
So do I.
I don't care. Back in those days, that was the good thing about it. Didn't matter what level you played in.
Yeah.
Someone got you could always get them back, or
Yeah.
someone else in your team would eventually.
Yeah.
So they can't do that anymore. It's not used to be sorted out right then, but they had a few lifters, didn't they, in their team too, Richmond, and then you go back. Well, he was 80s. I mean, going back, obviously Neil Baum, who went on to be at Melbourne as a coach, but I've seen a lot of good replays with him in it. He could sort them out.
You do.
But yeah, anyway.
Mate, you mentioned Dougie Hawkins before, and just anyone that stands out being your toughest opponent that you played on?
Keith Grigg, you mentioned North Melbourne.
Yeah, no, I never played on Keith. Thank goodness he was on the other side. Good, thank you, Robbie. I think I know this sounds strange. Like I found Dipper very hard because he was physical.
Yep.
Yeah, he really liked throwing away. But the hardest player that I found to play on a wing was Gary Folds from Essendon.
Oh yes, yep, number 10.
Gary
Fowles. Yep.
Gary was really good in very quick in reading the play going forward and back. So it didn't give you a lot of freedom and opportunity to actually run openly. So you're always. It was really a mentally difficult game.
Okay. There you go. There you go.
Mate, just about done. We'll let you go and have some dinner.
That's right.
We can talk.
Oh no, mate, I'm cooking tonight.
Oh, are you?
Cooking tonight, mate. It'll be pretty plain, trust me.
I know you're probably getting in trouble. He's in there talking about football again.
Well, I think the wife gets home in about 15 minutes, and normally when she gets home, it's already cooked. So I was struggling tonight. I wasn't sure what I was going to cook.
If you haven't done anything, mate, you might be in the doghouse.
Mate, isn't it to say you can only be in a certain area, but it's only the depth that varies?
That's exactly
Is that what
it. And for your State of Origin football, obviously you played a fair bit in your time, State of Origin. Where are you at with that? You think it needs to come back to spark the game again, or
Or was it done? Was it buried?
Oh, look, I think it's buried myself because it's we've got a national competition where there's 2 teams in state, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's got really good merit to it, but I think what they struggle with there, if they ever bought it back, what if a player who's on $1 million a year gets injured in the season?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I think is stopping it. Because the price of the dollar in terms of what they play.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I love watching the State of Origin and the rugby.
I do too. That got me into rugby. The State of Origin right from the start. And
in actual fact, Alan, this particular show that Glenn and I are doing has got us into so many different sports that we've never followed before, hasn't it?
Huge amount of sports.
We went to a rugby union grand final the other week, and just there's so many good sports out there to watch. But
we do odd sports. There's some odd sports out there, Alan.
Yes.
well, I can tell you what, my wife hates me because I watch every sport, even I've watched the dog trials.
Yeah. Yeah. And we actually, I've just got to, I'll plug this. As soon as we're finished here, I don't know if you watched the darts or not, but
I do. I love watching the darts.
You don't?
Well, tell.
My father was a really good darts player in WA.
Yes.
Yep.
And he actually beat the world champion once.
Yep.
So what we used to do on a Sunday, because Perth used to have Sunday sessions, so I used to go down with my dad in the morning from 11 to 1, come home and Mum would have a roast where he was great. So we used to go down there and we used to play for pots, right? So I used to play with Dad. I'd never buy a beer for 2 hours. He was sensational.
Well,
I'd save a lot of money. This is great.
Well, it's a coincidence because
we've got a Western Australian coming on.
There's a Western Australia coming on as soon as we're finished here. Damon Hettu, who won the Brisbane Masters a couple of weeks ago against Rob Cross.
That.
Sorry?
Yeah, watched him do it, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic game. So I got onto him and asked him if he'd come onto the show. So yeah, we'll have him on the Friday Frothy as well.
The money's changed the game, hasn't it? I mean, it is a full business. Whereas when you first come over, you were working, you had family, and you'd play your football, and then you was at work as well. So until it became professional, and it's certainly changed, but.
I just think they've got to stop tinkering with it.
Yes.
We make changes every year, and we make it more difficult for the umpires. And once you start making it hard for the umpires, then you get a frustration. The players don't get it. I wish this drag-in rule, to me, is if a player drags in, another player jumps on top. I reckon they should change. If another player from the same team jumps on top, it's against them because it's never come out.
Absolutely. Well, what chance have they got?
Don't jump on top.
Yeah.
Don't jump on. Don't let them jump on top.
Yeah.
Let 2 fight it out, and if they get out, great. If they don't, fine, give them a kick.
Well,
but don't have 2 or 3 jump on top of the same team. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Alan, do you mind if I ask about the your son going to Melbourne? I saw a little bit on Google or something that there was a bit of something that happened there, and the father-son rule that his son Chris went to Melbourne and then moved off to Carlton.
Yeah, there was. He went to Melbourne straight out of school, and I still don't think they've got the transfer of understanding of kids going into an adult environment and getting money what they do. I just don't think it's right yet.
Yep.
But Caroline Wilson made some comments about how Chris left Melbourne, and I was not happy because the actual facts that she put forward were wrong.
Yep.
So I made it known to her. I said, you've got to get your facts right. And I went back to the club because the club had not supported Chris in the exit because it was an issue with the coach and him, and it got put out of proportion. And Chris Conley did ring me, and Chris was at the club at the time and apologised and said, what have we got to do? I said, Chris, just talk to my son and make it and work through it. I said, the way you've handled it was pretty wrong.
Yeah.
But anyway, Chris went to Carlton, and he enjoyed his time at Carlton. Unfortunately for him, he just got too many injuries, and then he went and played and coached in the amateurs. He went and played at Greenvale for a while and won the premiership there, and then he went to the Ammos. He's been coaching there. I think he played 6 games with the Russian up at Echuca Way this year.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay.
Oh, good
so
on
he's
him.
done that.
Yeah. Great golf courses up in Echuca,
And
mate.
also, and now he's
Great golf courses in Echuca.
and now he's a celebrant.
Oh,
is he?
really?
I know. There's good pubs up there too. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there is. No, we used to go and play golf. Rich River up there. We did a few trips up there.
Yeah, well, mate, good course.
Beautiful neck of the
Of
woods,
course.
mate. Well, look, we ever get over to, well, I was in Melbourne not long ago, but we ever over there and you want to have a quick beer and that, we'd like to catch up at some stage. And
That'd be
but
awesome.
look, we're thrilled to have you on here.
Well, just one
Sure.
more thing before we let you go and start cooking dinner, which I can tell you're in a hurry. Another clip that I saw, I've been doing a bit of work, and one of the clips that you did for Melbourne, it might have been for the Hall of Fame, and you made mention about how you didn't realise at the time how important it was and how the fans absolutely just loved you players, loved the game and loved being a football. And I just, it really sparked with me because obviously we're diehard football fans and love it. But
I think when you play, like, and I don't know whether it's the same now because they're getting a crap load of dollars, but back then, to play and to get to a level like I was lucky enough to do, and I just enjoyed playing.
Yeah.
I thought it was great and loved. I hate losing like everybody else, but just loved playing footy. And to get to that level, I was actually. I don't talk to people about it. I actually just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And I was really rapt to be able to do that. And I was asked by somebody at the Redlegs function once and said, "What do you see now about football? About how you feel about football and about your career?" I said, "I'm very lucky to have the career. I'm very lucky to receive personal awards. But I said, to be recognised by clubs for life membership and Hall of Fame and that, I said, I never, ever thought I would be able to achieve that. But you've gone. But the biggest thing I got from it was I didn't realise how much enjoyment supporters got.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
really
look,
didn't
absolutely.
until
I mean,
finished playing football. Until and to be honest with you, I'm humbled by people who come up, and I met a guy who works in our head office come up to me and he shook my hand and he gave me a hug and he said, "My name's Alan, I'm a Melbourne supporter, I loved you."
Yeah.
And you sit back there and it's humbling to understand that these people thought so much of you and you played a game you love playing.
yeah,
Absolutely.
That's what I find humbling.
Alan,
I really do. I find it amazing.
I've got to tell you, even down here in Tasmania, I've been spruiking the show that we've got Alan Johnson coming up, and every person I speak to, and mate, everyone knows you, everyone's heard of you, so it's
Anyone in football terms of that would have. And look, the other thing is too, mate, what you do get out of it, it doesn't matter what level. This is one thing, what level you ever played in, anyone, but those guys that you're playing, and you mentioned premierships, and not even when you don't play in premierships, I mean, that's the pinnacle, but it's the mateship. All those guys, that's why I asked you the question. You go back to, you get asked to go back to the club and, catch up with these fellas and also the fact that you was from Western Australia too. Obviously, if you went back home, I suppose you've got all the people over there that you know. So that gives you something. I think for life.
Well known in 2 states.
Yeah, it does.
So it is. And it's a fantastic achievement, mate. So
Thank you.
we're absolutely wrapped. And if we're over there, mate, you want to go and have a quick beer? We'll catch up and have a sharp one. We'll have a sharp beer or two.
Let me know, and I'm happy for you to pay, not a problem.
Yeah. Well, mate, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. As Glennie just said.
Absolutely fantastic.
No worries, Jeff, Glenn. Thank you very much for inviting me.
That's
mate.
okay. Thanks, Alan. All the best to you and your family, mate, and be safe
Yes.
and be well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, cheers.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thanks.
See ya.
Thanks. Well, thank you, Alan Johnson.
Yeah, thanks, Al.
Hall of Famer, best and fairest, Perth.
You know what the best thing is, mate, is to actually talk to a former champion But there's one thing that we missed out: an absolute champion guy too to go
My
with
word.
it. And
My word.
we it wasn't very hard to pick that up. And no wonder he did well playing football and has done well in life.
And
so
believe
well
us,
done, mate.
believe us, Alan, if we do come over, we are going to give you a call for a beer, mate, and we will pay. So
Yeah, we will.
there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again to our sponsor, Corey's Garden Landscaping.
Yes. No, well done, Corey.
Thanks, Corey, for the beers, mate. We'll talk to you soon. Fantastic interview.
We will. Cheers, mate.
Bye.